They call it incorrect for a reason.
Go ahead.
Well, so what I think is important to note is that just about every county right now is trying to steal your land. Not just trying, they did. And they usually do it through tacit, non-consensual agreements. So when you signed or you registered to vote here, when you signed a marriage certificate, when you signed your children into the hospital, when you signed their birth certificate, when you signed your driver's license, all of these things are scams to not only steal everything that you own, your entire estate, your children, and your land. No, the way that they've actually stolen the land is quite fascinating. They just created an overlay of zip codes, then they claimed them. But the thing about it is they can't claim your land. Land can only be passed from one sovereign to the next. It cannot be passed to a foreign corporation. So what they're doing is they're claiming your land because you haven't, and that way when you die, they can take it from your heirs. So that's why we need to get a little smarter about operating in the private, setting up our own private trusts, and claiming our land. It's like far and away. All you need is a bunch of little, white flags and some posts so you can get your meets and bounds, and then you can claim your land, and therefore you can then pass it on to your heirs. So one of the things we're doing immediately for operational restoration is we're setting up a PMA, a social compact, wherein we're providing refuge for people that want to come back and get their land back from the county. We're talking 4.5 million people in Maricopa County, of which they have every single person, this right here, this Maricopa County Assessor's Office.
Which, Mikki, no one's here working.
No one's even here
all
working.
Today's March 13th.
Stolen your land, and they're just banking on the fact that you're going to die. And
they're all running around in there because they see us.
If I may, the way how it's done. So you have a land, you have a physical land that can be only described in physical means and bounds. And when you go to purchase a property, let's actually wait for the gentleman to hear this too, because this is very important. I'm hoping that
all the security is
So when you go to purchase a property, you have a realtor, right? And they show you the actual land. They show you the front yard, they show you the backyard, they show you the house. You walk through the house, right? You love the barbecue and say, yeah, I want this house, okay? Then they show you through this escrow process. And at the end, they create deed of trust, warranty deed, corporate deed, or some kind of deed. And in that moment, what they've done, they taken the description of the land and they took you into a fiction, okay? Mm-hmm. And the way how they do it, as Mikki was saying, through the assessor. So when our country was invaded, they created this federal territory overlay on top of the land. So the actual land is described in the meets and bounds, which is done through the surveyors, licensed surveyors map. So you have one map that's describing the actual land in the meets and bounds. It basically tells you from this pipe to this pipe, there is so much, feet, then you have to go at that degree to the next pipe, and that's how you describe the actual, lawful description. There is a difference between that's a lawful description. The legal description is then when they take it at the end of escrow into the fiction. And that's the assessor's map. And they did it so they can assess the property taxes, because you cannot tax private land, but you can tax an estate. And that's how they do it. That they take the surveyor's map, they create another map through the assessor's office called the assessor's map. And now this land is no longer described in the physical meets and bounds, but it's described through a legal description, through a new map that was created in order for them to take you in the, I call it the legal la-la land, okay, into the fiction. And you think you are buying a property, but no, you are actually buying an